All right, hey everybody. Sorry about the video being out later in the day. I intended to release it this morning, but I had some questions and comments on Facebook this morning that got me to thinking. So I wanted to make a little preface for the video, and I wanted to kind of explain why I chose the chain that I did as the comparison chain. And so I chose this Oregon EXL. It's a round file chisel chain. This and the Hexa are both full comp chisel chain. But I chose the Oregon because this is the most aggressive chain out of the box that I've personally used. And so the Hexa looks aggressive enough. I chose the Oregon as an aggressive comparison, as kind of an out of the box comparison. So I appreciate you guys' interaction. That lets me know, kind of what you guys do want to see, don't want to see. And it helps me think about other things that I may not have thought about anyway. And so I'll let you guys watch the video, and then I'll make some closing comments and my opinion on it. But this is not an all-inclusive video by any means. So it's just really just kind of a first impressions video. And so if you guys are interested, after I get more time on Hexa chain with the 872 and maybe a couple other saws, I can do a more extensive review. But this is really just meant to be a first impressions video. So the 441, I did leave it on there just because it's in the same CC class as the other two saws. I didn't run it with the Hexa. I had a lightning storm blowing overhead, so I had to scram and get inside the shop. But it does have a chisel chain, a chisel ground chain on it that I ran. The rakers need to be taken down on it, so that actually cut terribly slow. And then I had the full comp chisel chain that I had on the 400. I ran that on the 441 too, but I didn't get a chance to run the Hexa on it. So anyway, you guys can watch the video, and then I'll close it up with some opinions on the whole thing. So thanks for watching. So today I wanted to kind of touch on Hexa chain. I did get a hold of some from the local saw shop, and it's starting to trickle in other places too. So one of the lucky ones to get a hold of it a little bit early. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a rundown, and I am doing a kind of a test on this 872 saw. Cut quite a bit of wood with it already, and continue to cut with it for a while, so I can give you guys an honest review on it. But so anyway, here's the Hexa box that it comes with, and this kind of gives you the specs, so I'll tell you your factory raker setting, the tooth angle, 84 drivers for this one, 25-inch bar, again 84 drivers, 63 gauge, and 3/8 pitch. So, and I'm not even really familiar with what the codes are, but this is a yellow chain. I know they make a yellow and a green, but I think the green is a safety chain or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, so here's the Hexa on the saw, so you can see how much of a hook it has. And so it's got that angled gullet, so you get more of a peak to the top of it. And that tooth is a little bit dirty, but so there's a good side profile. Looks like it's a little bit bent over right there, but that's a good solid side profile. So I did take the rakers down on this one because it wasn't quite hungry enough, and so I got it just a little bit too aggressive, where it's a little bit grabby on this 872. So I'm going to throw it on the 400 and try it on that too. But next we got a chisel bit here. So this is a ground chisel chain. It's been resharpened at a shop, and so you can kind of see the side profile is more of a vertical edge, and then you can see the gullet right there, and more of a vertical gullet. It's got that little edge on it. So chisel chain's quite a bit different, and that chisel hasn't had the rakers taken down. Then to compare it is an Oregon chain right here. This is a brand spanking new Oregon chain, so you can kind of see the tooth profile there. Big deep gullet on it. There's the inside of the tooth. If I can it to focus. So comparing the two, you know, the Hexa's got a big deep gullet, but it's got that more of a true chiseled point to it. And so this is a chain that I've hand ground, and this is what I've been doing for years. Is actually I'll take the next smaller size file and I'll file it to get that hook on it, because I like a more aggressive hook on the chain, or a hook on the tooth, I mean. And I usually keep mine kind of hungry. This is a skip tooth chain here, so you can kind of get away with being a little more hungry on it too. But so I've been doing that for years, and so now the Hexa kind of replicates that, and a lot of guys don't like that, but I don't fall timber every day, so for me it works good. I like a good aggressive tooth. So I've always liked a aggressive point and then a deep gullet like that. It seems to work really well for me. So anyway, that's pretty much the rundown on the chain. So I'll run this chain for a little while and let you know what I think long term. But okay, 872 with the Hexa. That was about 8900. So I think the chain is just a little too aggressive and pulls the saw down out of the power band. So this will be the 872 run with the Oregon chain on it. Full comp, full chisel, brand new. Haven't touched it with a file at all yet. So that actually felt really good. Like, it's perfect for this saw. The Hexa is just a little bit too hungry right now, but okay, 441 full comp chisel Oregon chain, brand new. Been run a little bit on the 400, but it's basically brand Okay, Hexa in closing. So it was, when I first got it, it wasn't as aggressive as I thought it was going to be. And so the box says it's set at 25 thousandths. The rakers are set at 25 thousandths. And So, I mean, even with the 872, it's not a torque monster. And so it wasn't cutting all that great, and you can kind of tell when a chain just wants to cut and kind of pull itself into the wood. It wasn't doing that. So I took the rakers down to 35 thousandths, and then it was almost too much, especially for the 872. But you can even tell on the video with the 400, when it first starts into the cut, it stumbles just a little bit, and so it was almost too aggressive. But that's kind of something that might be another video too, is tuning the chain for that saw, and once you get the chain tuned for the saw and the wood you're going to be cutting in, myself, I like to leave that chain on that saw until, it's wrecked or just completely used up or something, but that's kind of where I'm going with this though, is regardless of the chain, if you're an out of the box kind of guy and you take the chain back to the saw shop to have it sharpened or whatever, that's a totally different deal than if you're, maintaining your own chains and you're tuning your chains, keeping them sharp, taking the rakers down, keeping everything even and stuff, So I think if you're one of those guys that takes care of your own chains, Hexa really isn't, the greatest thing since the power bread slicer. And so that's kind of my first impression of this thing is, for me, the cost of the chain is $5 more for a Hexa chain than the other chains, and then the files are $10 a piece, so I can get a round file for $3 or $4 a piece, and the Hexa chain is 10 for the Hexa file. But I guess the bottom line is, if you were to blindfold me and I cut a few rounds and I didn't know which chain was which, honestly, I don't think Hexa is really what it's been hyped up to be, honestly. It's a good chain, and I encourage everybody to try it for themselves that is curious. And, and I'm here in Western Montana too, so everything that we have out here is relatively soft. The main things we cut is pine, fir, and larch. Those are really the three trees, and there's several species of pine, but, by and large, that's the wood that gets cut out here. And so I can't speak to how it would cut in hardwood, so hard to say. It might shine a little bit more in hardwood. But the other thing I noticed too was it throws a strange chip, and I think it's because of that angled gullet where it comes to a point. As the wood comes off that tip and down to that angled point or the angled gullet, it breaks off, and so you get kind of stranded, long, narrow, stranded chips. And so I think what's going on is what is like the EXL, it's making really nice chips, they're almost square, they're as long as they are wide. And so I think what's going on is like the EXL, that wood, as it comes off that point, it rolls down that gullet and then it breaks off, so you get those big flakes. But with the Hexa, I think that point in the gullet is actually acting like a chip breaker, like on a metal lathe, where it hits a little point in there and then it breaks it off. And so when I first got the chain, it was cutting like that, I thought, oh, that's kind of weird, and I took the rakers down and it was still cutting like that, and so I think it's just the shape of the gullet. But the chain definitely did better on the 400 with the rakers taken down, having the power of the 400 behind it. But you can see in the videos too that this EXL was faster, not even close. And so, this is just a first impressions video, but the first cuts is, you can kind of extrapolate that to some degree, and so you can probably tune that chain a little bit, to the saw, to the wood, whatever. But as far as first impressions go, they say the Hexa is X amount faster than whatever, and when a out of the box Oregon chain is a full second faster, that kind of speaks for itself, and so I'm just trying to be honest here. I have no agenda. I couldn't care one way or the other, I just want a good chain. If it's a good chain, holds up, cuts fast, that's all I care about. I don't care what brand it is or what shape it is or anything else, so I'm just trying to be honest here. You guys can take this and figure it out for yourselves if you really want to try it. So it is what it is. But anyway, I really do appreciate you guys' interactions. I'm a new channel, trying to grow the channel. I want to make interesting content for you guys, and it's interesting for me to get to make it and do stuff like this where I kind of learn along the way too. So if you guys would do me a favor, give me a thumbs up on the videos that you do like. If you don't like it, leave me a comment, but please don't just leave a comment that says this is dumb. You know, leave me some constructive criticism so I know what I did, you know, what I could do better. If there's something else that, you know, I failed to see or think about in the video that I could include or in a future video or whatever, you know. So yeah, I'm at a point in my life where I have a little discretionary time and money, and so, you know, I'm able to do some of this stuff that not everybody can do. So, you know, if there's something you guys want to see, shoot me a comment, or, you know, we'll get our heads together and try and make it happen. So anyway, thank you guys for the interactions and the support, and